shouted because she's just in the process of trying to sleep at the moment.
I wish I could. Hello, everybody. Bruce says this is the funniest bit of the show.
It is. I can't believe that when we banded this one out, we put it out there, didn't we? Like when we were trying to do the Christmas schedule. Oh yeah, I'll come on. I'll be on the. I can't miss the review of the year. I can't miss it. Well, where are they?
Let's be having you. Where are they?
Where are they? Let's be having them.
Right, Delia.
Oh yeah. I'll come on. I thought we'd have about 15 windows today, but no.
Don't think
it's
it works.
Poor,
oh, it does.
It's poor perseverance.
This is a bit posh, isn't it? Oh my god, that's really bright.
Oh, you look like one of the windows. You look like one of the windows in Amsterdam.
Well, someone would know. It ain't me.
I've been on a tourist trip to Amsterdam with the lads. Well, actually, it was football. We went to watch England.
Yeah. England game, missed it. Fucking hell. What is the point in these? How do they work?
How's what work?
Whatever I've got. I don't know what they are. We got given them at Screwfix Live for free.
Screwfix Live.
Love Screwfix Live. Saw Chris Kamara.
Screwfix Live.
Love it. Oh, Bruce, you would you see, you come at me with grief, but you would absolutely love it. Free bits and bobs. Is that like, you know?
It sounds like a load of old tools.
No, it's mostly new tools. It's not like they've got, it's the the 1970s plane or whatever it is that everybody loved. What's going on?
We used to have one of them at school. We used to have one of them at school. I did woodwork for GCSE because I thought it'd be an easy sort of excuse not to do a proper lesson.
Oh, I messed up my GCSE choices. I went for design and technology, I think. Graphic design, it was shit.
And look at you now.
We all just tossed it off in woodwork, and then we came in on the last day, and we'd like the day that all the work was being assessed, and the teacher had finished all of our woodwork for us.
Did you really? Christ. Well, that's better.
I think I still got an E. So he must have been shit. Even he couldn't miraculously fix my video shelf that I'd made for myself for home.
What are you doing in woodwork? You're tossing it off and popping E's.
No.
Picture.
That's what you just said.
Not for sale. What do I do with them? Ideal for solid painted walls. Do not hang over beds because we don't trust it. Do not use on wallpapers. Yeah.
Depends what you're hanging over the bed, mate.
Do not hand. Well, I'm not like, putting the missus up there.
You're not putting that light up. You're not putting that light above the bed.
Well, we've got the the mirror. Happy anniversary to my wonderful lady as well. 12 years we've been together. And she let me watch the Salford game yesterday. Christ.
That's to make you realise how grateful that's to make you grateful, mate, for being with her.
Do you realise it started?
If you weren't with her, mate, you might have if you weren't with her, you might make more games. You'd be more depressed than you are now.
Well, this is the thing. She's the one that keeps me happy.
Exactly.
John, to be honest, mate, I didn't for a good few seconds.
Oh yeah, he put it in the private chat. We'll get it going. What this has basically helped me do is extend the prep time because I've only just put this thing up that I grabbed from IKEA because this room is a mess.
I've made some notes, mate.
Oh my god! I'm glad someone prepped.
But they've got tea all over them because I've got a collection of Grimsby Town mugs. I've got a collection of Grimsby Town mugs at the back of the desk, right?
That's all of us yesterday, isn't it?
And I shove pens and glues and stuff in them, right? And anyway, I've been shoving stuff in them for a few days, and I just pulled out this pen to make notes, and there was like a brown liquid all over the stuff that was in it. I was like, what on earth? So I chucked that pen in the bin and got another one, and it had got the same. And then when I picked the mug up, little did I realise I've made a mug of tea with one of them and just chucked it at the back of the desk and forgot it was there and just kept shoving pens in it. There was bits of all sorts floating in it. Must be from about 3 weeks ago. So anyway, I've washed it out now and I've dried the pens and I think all's good. So if you think watching Town lose 4-1 yesterday was shit, it could have been worse. My pens might have been ruined.
Did you finish the tea?
It looks a bit
Why did they have this?
If it was a biscuit, I'd have eaten it though.
That'll do. I don't know what that's meant to do. Is that meant to be?
He's still on that bloody light thing.
Yeah, trying to fix it. Whoa, that's right. Oh, yeah. Disco. Yeah, this is really good.
Flitting between like sunbed and sun deprived.
I'll be honest, it's better off, mate.
You look like you.
How rude!
Go on, give us an orange tan. Give us a sunbed tan.
Hey, look, nice. How can I get past as bright as it goes?
Give us your bronzing booth look.
See,
you went through it there.
Upper Findus. Main stand in the evening. Oh, it feels like the main stand. I've got it bloody glaring at me now.
One of those settings.
And Hannah's bedroom's like the lower because it's freezing. She said, "She's got a jumper on at home." You want to put your coat and hat on, Hannah, for the full experience.
This is a whole Huey's Welsh. So this is exactly what the state of the heating is in Hannah's house.
He's probably walking around in his underpants and just and like absolutely, it's a bit warm in here.
He's not. He's
She goes sits in the Findus to warm up a bit.
Yeah,
God, it was
warmer in here
last night. It was freezing last night.
For some reason, our bedroom just won't heat. We've done everything. It's a very cold room.
Have you not got I'll tell you what I've worked out. Have you not got the little vents on your window open?
We don't have the vents on the windows.
Because we had that and we were wondering why it was so bloody freezing.
No, I think, you see this
what the fuck was
curtain here? I think that needs a door on it. And I think that's the problem.
Oh, okay.
Is that just a hole in the wall then behind that?
It's like, it's a cupboard over the stairs.
Okay.
It's just got clothes in, but I think we need a proper door on it.
It gets drafty.
Mm.
You've got the pod title, Alex. We haven't got vents on the windows.
We ain't got vents on the. Well, I thought
you were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
You've got a hoodie on, Brucey. Well said, Daniel.
I'm not complaining about the temperature. Thank you, Daniel. Can you block him? Block him for that. That's abusive.
No, because I forgot.
That's abusive Grimsby Town behaviour.
I had to reset the Facebook page just so I could make sure we could, talk again. Okay, we are going to do a review. We are going to try and ignore yesterday. So, dispel your bad vibes and your anger and your angst. And we're going to look back at what I think is a pretty decent year, though it hasn't ended spectacularly. So, chill out, take your chill pill. Block Jacko, can't believe he left at halftime. I don't know who that is.
That's a mate of mine that was out with us on the lads all day yesterday. To be fair, I've said before, I have left games before, and the buses were running pretty infrequently yesterday, and my hangover was kicking in the lower at half time.
Hang on, here we go.
And Maisie, about 10 minutes into the second half, I said to Maisie, "Look, what time the buses are." So she got her phone out because I could have done it myself, but my hands it was too cold, so I let her do it. And anyway, she looked.
True gentleman.
There's one in 10 minutes, or the next one's 20 past 10. And it was like, "Do you want to go now?" And she looked at me in absolute disgust. I was like, I think there must have been about 15 minutes gone in the second half. And anyway, about 10:15, we were both stood at the bus stop, absolutely bloody freezing. And I was like, "We could have been at home now, but this is your fault."
I can't believe Maisie is the one.
She kept me at the game.
If it helped, Bruce, I left the back door open, so I felt just as cold as you lot, just to try and feel the same vibe. But look, we're not going to talk about that. 2022 was pretty stonking, and we want to get you as involved as we can. So feel free to come to us with your favourite memories and whatever, and we'll go through them. It started pretty much as it meant to go on, really, didn't it? Because it was a game against Hart. Well, actually, shall we do the posh thing? Hang on. I'm getting ahead of me, son, aren't I? Shall we QDV?
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
That's a magnificent piece of football!
Really, really good goal!
You can't let this one go down.
Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.
Yeah, hello. We're doing it properly now. So 2022 was one hell of a year. I know you all feel a bit down at the moment, but it wasn't that way. Look how good it really was. It started, not only did we get to sit in the posh seats, but it started with a pretty decent, well, we should have known what was on the cards because it, you know, it started like this.
A great touch on the chest there by Wright. And then Bell overran it. Great determination to win it back quickly. Fantastic attitude here from Grimsby, still plugging away. The ball in, brilliant! Equaliser! In added time!
Where's Bruce?
That's denied!
I'd forgotten all about that.
The header of the back post!
That was hell of a game.
Was that, we got Maguire Drew with the header.
Maguire Drew with the header. Max Wright with the cross.
Yeah, no. My note started on the 15th of January, so no, I'd forgotten about that. That was a draw, though, wasn't it? I think we snatched but there was a couple of times where we got late, late goals, even before the end of the, even before the obvious ones, weren't there? Yeah, my note started on the 15th of January, not particularly about the game, but that McAtee goal against Altrincham.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was the one that Scott commentated on. That they were the back post corner routine and outside of the box. That was some goal. We scored a few good goals around that time, didn't we?
Yeah, I think if I remember rightly, that was sort of the goal that sort of ended the run. We'd been on quite a bad run, hadn't we? And we sort of needed that at the end of the game. And I think we all, if I remember rightly, we all sort of felt like that was a bit of a win instead of a draw at the time, that game, because of the run we'd been on. And I think that Halifax game, I think, was one of our best performances at the season to date, and we was unlucky to be 1-0 down. So yeah, I just remember that game as being relief that we played well. We got the late goal, and it sort of put an end to the bad run.
Actually, the week before we'd lost 4-0 at Stockport in the trophy, and I think we got absolutely hammered. We got absolutely hammered, didn't we? And from that point on, between then and the end of the season, like I think you're probably right, because I just looked and we lost 6 of 27 games after that, which is a pretty decent run. We'd settle for that from January onwards, wouldn't we? After conceding 4.
Yeah, I think we lost another game afterwards. But it was, not bad performances, and then we sort of picked up, and then we went on that mental run. So that's what I remember the start of this year is coming out of it quite badly, and then starting the new year in quite a nice way. If I remember rightly, did you guys also have the Q&A with Jason and Andrew that day?
We did. Yeah. We all went into the boardroom and stuff, and that was very, very lovely. I didn't like it in the Upper Smiths. I don't like it up there. It's too, especially the exec bit. It was a bit, I wouldn't want to sit there. It's a bit too, behave. By the end of it, I think, because who was sat next to us? It was me, Scott, and who else was sat up there in the back with us? It might have been Henry. And there was just lots, we were just throwing a lot of abuse. And I don't think it's the done thing. I remember Robbie Stockdale was there though. He was in the lounge beforehand, with the Halifax people as well.
Guys, that nearly a year ago. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Doesn't feel that long, does it? And then you've got what else did we have? I'm kind of look quick through January especially. So we lost to Halifax immediately afterwards. Then the Altrincham game with that absolute perler. lost to fucking Fatty Woodman. 2-1 against Bromley. I can't even remember that game.
No.
Wasn't that? Sorry,
that was the one where he came out with all that crap after full time, wasn't it?
Yeah, hang on. I'm just going to try and find
that
it.
He hated us because I remember the away game was at the start of the season because it was soaking, and then I think we had the home game, and he came out after full time with all this about hating Grimsby, hating this.
I did have a look earlier to see what was going on at Bromley, but they're doing all right, annoyingly. Here we go. This is what he said. Is this gonna? Is this play? Can you hear the sound on that?
Tell you whose fault it is, the Frenchman. Looks like, doesn't he?
Can you hear that?
No. That went well. What did he say?
Fucking hate Grimsby. I hate Grimsby.
I mean,
basically,
honest, it's not dissimilar to what that is. Hang on, let me see. I will get this going. No, maybe not. Maybe we should have done a bit of production on this.
I think it really turned around. Looking at the results, Mike, like you were saying, we drew with Halifax at home, lost to them away, which is what you said. We lost another game. We beat Altrincham, and then we lost the next two. The second one was away at Wrexham, and it was really after that we beat Wealdstone, and then we sort of kicked on from there. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I know we didn't win the games after, but it definitely sort of we changed. I think around then.
Let's keep it in order then. Go on, Alex, fire away.
Oh, sorry, guys. I was just doing that. Sorry, producing in the back.
That were made after the last game.
Yeah, 100%. I don't like them. I don't like the comments they made about my team. I don't like the comments they made about when we won at our place. So yeah,
I've lost.
I say it as it is. That's it. And I think you've got to give a bit more respect to players.
Kevin Donovan.
And I think that revved our boys up. That's that we had to. I didn't have to really do a team talk. It was all done for me, to be honest.
After a few.
Do you know what he reminds me of? Do you know what he reminds me of? He's Donald Trump here. I don't like it. I don't like him. I don't like him.
He looks like
he's got a chip on his shoulder.
I don't like him.
It's a one-way hate thing, really, isn't it?
Well, he hasn't got a chip on his shoulder. He's already eaten that, Bruce. Christ.
Yeah.
I don't like him since he made me look a complete twat at Wembley.
They should have had Kevin Donovan.
I thought we were going to win, and we should have won. We took 40,000. We should have won because of that.
Yeah, and then we lost to Wrexham. I can't even remember that. Did you go, Bruce?
No, mate. I went to the other Wrexham.
The other Wrexham, yeah, the other Wrexham. Then we beat Wealdstone, and then we beat Notts County.
That was a cracking day. Did you go, Hannah?
No, I went to the other Notts County, the other Wrexham.
That was another last-minute winner, though, wasn't it? We came from behind. We came from behind to beat Notts County. Not for the last time that season. That was a good day. We'd had a good day out and stood in the rain in the second half, even though there was lots of shelter. And who scored right at the end? Who nicked it for us?
Was it Houlihan?
Was it again? Was it? It might have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I seem to remember.
It was Waterfall, was it?
I seem to remember, as well as the change of form, sort of Notts County was the first game where we started to come from. I know we'd done it against Barnet. We'd come back from behind, but it set off another run of coming back behind in games quite late. If you look, I think, at the fixtures and results for the rest of the season, there's quite a lot of going behind, but fighting back and coming back right at the end of the game. And I seem to remember Notts County was the first time we'd done that.
I've just remembered, actually, I watched that Notts County game the other day just to see about the late goal and see how late it was. And I think, like you say, Alex, the winning goal was given to Waterfall, but it looked like one of the lone forwards. Was it Abraham? Was Abraham's here then, or maybe not Manny? But one of them got his toe on it. It looked like clear as anything that they stabbed it home from Waterfall's back post header. But everyone gave it to Waterfall, and it was one of them ones where they all sort of wheeled away towards the Town fans, like they did in the playoff final. You couldn't really tell who was celebrating scoring. But yeah, that was a good day. And Notts County is always a good trip. They can cope with the numbers we take. It's always a 3:00 kickoff, day out. Wasn't that the day that we had that Mr. Lawton was there with his notebook and we were dumping all of our drugs in the bins at the station, and
we were
causing carnage.
What
and
a waste!
The train was trashed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
the
it
train
was
the 3-carriage train for 2,000 people
with one toilet.
One toilet.
The facilities weren't the best. We got the train there, and it was a bit of a free for all at Grimsby Station trying to get a seat. Put it that way. But yeah, good day, and always nice to go to Notts County, and we tend to do all right there.
We do, yeah. I remember like 2005, like Michael Reddy getting one for us at the end as well. So it's always been a nice place to go. Then I just remember we had a little bit of a run, but then I know there was always the worry we weren't doing it against the lesser opposition. We drew with Kings Lynn. Then we beat Aldershot and we beat Woking. We had a bit of and then I went to watch us play at Dover, and we played all right at Dover, but they were all but done really. We put a few away. I think we won 3-1 in the end, and it just felt like we were getting there. But I didn't feel at the time that we were ever going to make the playoffs. I thought the damage had been done, and we weren't. We always had that run again in us. So even though we were winning some games pretty comfortably and we were pulling a run together, I never thought it was going to come back. And then we played Southend at their place, and they looked streets ahead of us. They looked so good. We lost 1-0. We didn't show up. Afete made lost the ball at the far end of the pitch, and then tried to make up for it by putting in a last-minute tackle and gave away a penalty. But I remember them just being all over us. But it felt like a proper league game. Like Roots Hall was like packed. There was 6,000-7,000 there. It was a decent game.
Was that the one that was rearranged after the Wind game?
Yeah, so that Storm, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, we took a good lot to the Wind game when we were advised not to travel.
Yes.
There were loads of people about in Southend. Was that a night game? The original one was a night game as well, wasn't it?
Friday night, because
it was a Friday. We were supposed to go,
didn't they? Yeah,
that's right. We were supposed to. Yeah, that's right. Because we stayed over, and there were loads of town fans about, and it was bloody windy. But yeah. Then, like you say, we never sort of turned up at the rerun game, didn't we? I didn't go back down for that.
No, and then we beat Yeovil 2-0. Did anyone go to that one? That was in March. That at the time.
Is that where Scannell scored quite early on?
I think it was. Yeah, Scannell scored. Then Desirue got another as well.
Just fucking threw himself at it.
Then we drew with Boreham Wood, and I remember us being all like, is this working for anybody? Like, just talking through the fixture list. I don't know, but
Boreham Wood was shit though, wasn't it? It was a rubbish game. We should have won. We should have won, but it was rubbish. Weren't they? They were unbeaten they were unbeaten at home, weren't they?
They were, and all I remember them doing was every time the ball got lumped into their area, at least one person went down with a head injury to stop the play, and the referee fell for it time and time again. And I'll tell you something. I was watching Kieran Maguire, who does the Price of Football podcast, and a couple of other guys as well, did a thing on how the money was distributed during COVID. I watched that today whilst putting a dressing together. And oh my God, Boreham Wood come out of it not looking good. I tell you that. They do not look coming. They made so much money on that COVID payment scheme. And I believe their chairman is on the National League board. Who'd have thought it? Yeah. Good for them.
Were they like Chesterfield, or is that was the furlough payments, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was basically the main gist of it was it had basically been agreed that they were going to divide it out. The 10 million that they got given was going to be divided out by attendances. So Wrexham, Stockport, Chesterfield were more likely to get them more money, sort of pound per head sort of thing. But in the end, it was just distributed between teams equally. So the National League got 60%, and then North and South got 20% each. And then that sort of 60% was divided equally between each team, which meant a fan at Boreham Wood were making 108 quid or something like that per fan of an average attendance. And Wrexham would not. They were making like £3 per person or something, which is obviously which was what the money they were losing, wasn't it? So it was an interesting one.
That doesn't sound like the National League.
No, absolutely not. I'm sure they'll rear their ugly head on this in a minute as well. What were your abiding feelings at that sort of point? Because it felt like we were getting it together, but for me, it felt like we were just, in the process of getting. I didn't think we were going to get anywhere near the playoffs. In fact, I should really look to see if I can find where we were at the time. But
I mean,
it didn't feel like we were going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think you and Bruce were a little bit and ahhing at the time, if I remember correctly. I mean, I never had any doubt we'd sneak in. I don't know whether that's more just luck than any judgment on my part, just forever an optimist. But I was always quite sure we would do enough to get into there, looking at who we had to play, who was around us, and how other teams were playing. So yeah, once we'd sort of got rid of that poor form over Christmas and leading up to Christmas, and we started picking up 5 wins out of 6 and things like that, I started to think we would get in there quite easily, based on nothing but hope, probably.
What about you, Hannah? How were you feeling about it all at the time?
I don't know. I've always been quite optimistic, which obviously in my lifetime hasn't paid off much. But yeah, probably quite optimistic. I mean, roughly around that time, I think we beat Chesterfield quite well, and you felt things shifting a bit, but never thought we would go up. Just you think maybe we'd dance around the edge of it.
We wanted the playoffs, Alex, didn't we? We thought we should, with the squad that we'd got and the way we'd talked. We thought that anything less than the playoffs. I seem to remember you and I were we thought that was more than achievable, didn't we?
And especially given how we'd started, and that sort of massively put the context of it. If we'd have started as we did at the start of the season, midway through, not picking up wins, pretty awful run. I mean, Hurst's job would have been questioned again, but also you'd have had that. It wouldn't have been the same. Actually, we're absolutely gunning for this. What's happened to that team that we had? And we had some new arrivals come in. What were your thoughts as well about the likes of Tristan Abraham and Manny and who else came in at the same time? Maguire Drew came in as Houlihan. Maguire Drew. I remember Manny coming in and Tranmere fans, and Tranmere fans coming in and saying he's the worst player we've ever had. I'm like, Christ, you've had Stephen Payne. So how bad could this be? But they can't tell shit for a footballer because he's brilliant, and please come home. It would be he was brilliant, as was Tristan. Not as direct, but he scored a beautiful goal against Dover.
They definitely gave us options. I mean, just linking back to what you were saying about the start, I think we even talked about at the time that we suffered from starting the season so well and then having just an absolute terrible middle of the season. We had said, look, if you could have mixed those results up a little bit and just had a fair start to the season and a fair middle, we'd have been all right. I think the problem was we had such a great start and then such a shit middle that everybody was all down and like, this is how it's going to be. But definitely, I think players like Houlihan, Smith, Manny and Abraham's coming in, and Maguire Drew, I think that definitely gave us something a little bit extra that we were missing at the start of the season. Smith, I remember he got a whole heap of abuse because who's Andy Smith? He's a young lad from Hull. He's never played competitive men's football. Why do we need him? Turned out to be an absolute star of the team. Houlihan gave us a great bit of midfield sort of nous in the middle of the park, which we might have missed. We had a very young midfield at the time with Harry Hunt and Ben Fox. Then we were lacking that little bit of a worker. And I think Tristan and Manny just give you options up front. If you stick a ball in the box often enough, you're going to get some results. And that's where I think we weren't too happy at the turn of the year. We were doing all sorts in the middle of the park, but just not sticking it in the back of the net because we just didn't have the options in there. And I think they provided that. Whilst they weren't prolific, they chipped in where they did. So I think that's sort of where the team evolved quite well.
you talk about Holohan. That game
Screamer, wasn't it?
That game at Chesterfield that came up shortly afterwards was probably the biggest shock of the season. Going there and winning 4-1. I mean, what a day out that was. You know, we just everything we hit that day just flew in. That was a cracking day, and like you say, Holohan scored a great goal, didn't he? McAtee scored a great goal. I can't remember who got the other two, but they were in the first half within about 2 minutes of each other. It was dreamland stuff.
Isn't that where Maguire Drew missed like one of the worst sitters you've ever seen? Yeah, like it was harder to put it over.
It did sort of bobble in front of him, but yes, yeah, he put it over the bar, and then like you say, about a minute later, we scored anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably the biggest shock of the season, going there and winning 4-1. And that one was just a consolation, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think about then, that might have been the time I sort of started to actually think we were going to do it. Beating somebody like Chesterfield away from home in such a manner. I know they were at the beginning of an absolutely terrible run, which nearly saw them drop out of the playoffs. But I think that was where I'd sort of thought, you know, we're going to do this. We're going to get in the playoffs if we're turning up at Chesterfield and doing that.
Was that roughly when Cropper came?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know if he played it, but he roughly came about Easter time, didn't he?
I'd almost forgotten about him, and it's stupid because he scored. He created the goals in the playoffs, but yeah, no, it was a good performance that day. This is McAtee's goal, isn't it? Without sound again.
Yeah, I
do
didn't want to put the sound
impression,
on.
Bruce. Do JT impression.
I've got the John Tonda version. I've got the John Tonda version. Hang on.
Did you want the sound on?
I haven't got that one. I haven't got that one saved as just the goal. I don't think.
I had a bit of a giggle when I was listening to the thing Radio Humberside put out with the commentary. So I'd obviously not heard John's commentary, and it was 4-4, and he just went totally unbelievable. He's like, "What is going on here? What is happening?"
This game is never gonna. This podcast is not gonna stay on YouTube for long. I'll tell you that. It was a hell of a strike. Where's the one behind it? There was an angle behind them, wasn't there? There you are.
I've got the Holohan one, Alex. If you want it.
Not really.
If it works with my. Okay, no, you've just put the most bloody dodgy street. It's juddering and shuddering all over the place. And not really.
What can I?
Four frames a minute.
What can I say?
Bloody offended.
Those listening, they're not missing anything. We can't even see it.
What can I say? If you'd have given me some prep, lads, prep.
Now my missus is messaging me. She's in Weatherspoons. She'll be sending me a bloody table number next.
Shall we? Do you want to do that? Do you want to give us the table number and see if anyone wants to send us some plate of peas or something?
42 bottles of J2.
Hang on. I'll see what table number they're on. I was. Table number? Oh, they go mad now, don't they? If you get like a glass of milk delivered and stuff.
That's proper old man texting there, isn't it? Look at him.
I'm quite surprised the glasses aren't.
How does an old man text differently to a youngster?
You use one finger. There we go.
Yeah, I did use one finger. You're right. You
have to repeat it to yourself as well, don't you?
Maisie does that thing. You know when you type. Sorry, when you type in a text. They're on Johnny McAtee's table. Table 10. You know when you type in a text, right, Hannah? You're a youngster. You know when you start typing, it puts yes, yeah, and it puts suggested words above the thing. Do you use the suggested words, or do you carry on typing the word?
I don't know. If the suggested word is the word, then yeah, we'll use it.
Oh, I don't know.
It fills it in though automatically.
Do you not use the?
Yeah, but when you start typing, it gives you a choice of like 3 words at the top, doesn't it? Maisie uses them words and like types like that.
But on iPhone, if it comes up and you press space, it just does it. It fills the word in.
Daniel, you cheeky bastard.
Cleethorpes.
What did he say? I missed that.
He says I'm old.
Are you in this pub? Yes, I'm in that pub.
31 for Christ's sake. How old are you, Bruce?
Table 10.
32. No, that was 15 years ago. Yeah, I'm 47 now, mate.
Sides.
I don't
Not long now, eh?
Yeah, so table 10 in the Colosseum. If I get any
Peas
photos, I'll send you them.
Peas are 80p.
Don't go anywhere.
Add to basket.
Is it N-E?
She sent me a picture. She's with two of her mates actually. One of them single. We could use this as a bit of a
What's the cheapest
blind date.
beer? What does your missus drink, Bruce?
What does she drink? Well, they've got a bottle of Prosecco at the minute, but that's a bit.
I'm not buying her a bottle of Prosecco. She can fuck off.
She likes Archers and lemonade, mate.
Archers and lemonade, my
or
God.
A pint of lager and black, or
I might just send a. I might just send the peas. Yeah, 3 hash browns.
3 hash browns. Yeah, there is 3 of them. Yeah, like I say.
Anyway, where were we? Let's have a look.
Daniel Lewis is backtracking a little bit, trying to avoid getting blocked again, isn't he?
Stowood Press Dark Prairie.
What did he say? That you're not? Did he say you're not as old as I am?
He says I'm your age. I meant Bruce said Hannah is young. Yeah, right, Daniel, got your number, mate.
I'm only 29. I'm not much younger.
What, than me or Mike?
Mike.
Oh.
And you, Bruce.
I suppose I could be your dad nearly.
This is weird.
This
is
frightening,
taking a turn, isn't it? Taking a turn.
Alex, does there come a point where you retire people from the pod due to old age?
Should be.
Usually.
Cheeky bastard.
And I know what age it should be, mate.
What, 37, 47, sorry.
46.
Why do you think Tom's not on here anymore? He started talking about boat building.
He was stirring the shit, wasn't he, earlier? Did you see him?
No, what did Tom do?
Oh, he hasn't said anything, and then he starts on Twitter. He hasn't been very active lately, and I think he tries to wind people up.
He's always been a lovely contrarian. Retire at 48. I wish, John. I'm 36, Daniel. 36. Is that right? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think you get over 30, you have to start thinking about it, don't you?
We've got a combined pod age of about 150, haven't we?
Anna is not that old. How dare you? This is very Sam Barrack sort of place of podcasting, isn't it? Where are we at? Where are we?
My missus has just put "oh for fuck's sake" on our WhatsApp. I don't know what's just arrived.
So what table is she at? Table 10 at where?
Table 10 in the Colosseum Picture Theatre.
Okay. What beer? I don't know what beer to send her.
Hang on, those listening on catch up or listening on podcast but another day, there's going to be some poor bugger sat at table 10 at the Colosseum.
There'll be some wino. There'll just be some wino, won't there, sat at table 10 all week waiting for somebody to send something through.
Some guy on a lunch break. Why is somebody sending me a plate of peas?
Yeah.
What beer should I send? Sorry.
You can't go wrong with you can't go wrong with a lager and black or something.
57 Sambucas.
Yeah, what shots are cheap? Get the party started. We've sort of deviated. I think we've sort of gone off track a little bit, haven't we?
Bombs and shots.
Never.
What's the cheap?
Never.
All the shots. Oh, £2.29 for an Antica Sambuca. Caramel schnapps.
We were going to do this with me one time, weren't we? Thank God we didn't.
I withdraw my application.
Right, okay. I'm
going to send
encouragement, Bruce.
Oh, you should have seen Jacko yesterday when he fell out this wheelchair in the Angel down Fremo. It was hilarious. One of the Louth lads tipped it up and he spilt his whatever he was drinking all over himself.
Right, I've sent her a plate of peas and an apple sour.
Okay, cool. Right. Anyway, we need to move on, don't we? Because this is not Claire and her friends down Meggy's. I've offered them a lift later. There'll be bloody peas everywhere. Right, where were we? Come on, let's bring this back on track.
Chesterfield.
We were at Chesterfield,
4-1.
weren't we?
Yeah,
And you were
Chesterfield
trying
4-1. And then I think we were still, hoping for playoffs. We were having around it. Then we played Weymouth and we drew there as well. Weymouth was a weird game. That was an odd one. It was a nice ground, actually. And we took a fair few. Saw John there. And it was okay. Stuart helped us put our keeper's shape out banner up, our flag up. Didn't get a win, obviously. But it was all right. Everything but scored. Then we beat Stockport. That Stockport game was mad, wasn't it? They were all over us, and then Sarovic got sent off for a heinous challenge.
That was the game my child slept the whole way through. She absolutely demolished the sausage roll before the game and then slept for the 90 minutes and missed everything.
That's brilliant. That was probably the most raucous home atmosphere of the season as well.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was good. It was good. It was enjoyable. Like you say, it did change the game, him getting sent off, but it was nice to come back and get the win. Did Max Wright score, or am I making that up? Or was he injured by then?
No,
It
was McAtee and Houlihan.
Oh, all right then.
But I think that game, if I remember rightly, I think that totally hinged on that red card, didn't it? It just completely changed on its head. And as soon as that red card went, over the radio where I was listening, you could just hear the sort of crowd, which you don't hear very often at Bundle Park, to be fair, over the radio. You just heard them sort of get behind us, and we turned it around. Was it 1-0, and then we turned it to 2-1?
Yes.
Yeah. And then disaster struck the following game. We beat Kings Lynn 1-0. But we did lose,
Oh, Kings Lynn. I lost the will to live at that game. But there was people stood near me with little kids that couldn't see anything. It was horrendous.
How much did you get charged for that?
Oh, I can't remember. The people watching out the box window, the toilet window, weren't there? It was just like it was a open terrace, but it was flat, and it was about 15 deep. I just sort of pushed Maisie to the front and didn't see her all game, but she got a bird's eye view. Did Manny score or Abrahams? I think.
I don't think anyone saw.
Yeah, didn't Andrew Pettit get hit by a giant penis as well?
They
came on the pod and said that, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Or he grabbed hold of one or something.
And McAtee limped off, injured.
You're not reading this. You're not reading this, Alex, are you?
What's that?
What minute?
What minute? What?
What minute did he hobble off?
I don't know.
I don't remember. How do you remember that he hobbled off injured?
Because we weren't sure he was going to make the playoffs, were we?
Yeah.
Was it Easter? Was that an Easter game? Wasn't it, Kings Lynn?
Yeah.
Was that his shoulder?
Yeah, Monday, 18th of April. Warm day that.
It was.
It was. We had to get a drink on the way out from the kiosk. It was that hot.
I'm impressed the kiosk was open.
Yeah, I think they kept it open because of the amount of fans crowded in.
Never miss an opportunity to make a few quid on selling some drinks.
Yeah.
Oh, that was that dodgy bloke, wasn't it? Their chairman.
Old Lovejoy. Sam says that was Stockport game was the one where I thought this is going to happen this season. He knows his stuff, does Sam. And then we beat Torquay. I don't know if anyone remembers that much. And then
I remember going to Barnet as usual. We were shocking, weren't we? We snatched.
Barnet was brilliant.
We snatched a point from nowhere. We were awful. We were absolute dog shit, if I remember rightly.
You didn't go, did you?
Yeah, he was there.
I went.
We stood with him for 15 minutes and had a drink.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we did. No, that's all right.
Everyone
mate.
took inflatables.
No, that's the other game, wasn't there?
Yeah, apparently the players got pissed off with that. Sam might be able to corroborate that, but we equalised, didn't we? And we had a chance to go on and win it.
The fans broke the net or something.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. I said to Alex at the time, because I stood with Alex, and they just put up 6 or 7 minutes when we scored, and we didn't have 6 or 7 minutes of added time because of what went on. So, you've just got an equaliser, and there's still a fair bit of time left in the game. You're trying to get in the playoffs. Just let them play fucking football. I don't know why people need to do that, but hey.
It was Do you know what? I wouldn't mind it though if if it was like we were winning 1-0 and there was a corner our end and then someone snapped the net off. I wouldn't mind that.
Can't fucking score now, can you?
Yeah, no, do ice hockey. Just take the goalposts out and run away with them. But that was starting to embed that culture of that the team would never give up and never give in, and it just sort of added to that little bit of legend because we were trying to get. We were trying to get the playoffs confirmed as quickly as possible and also give us the best opportunity in those playoffs because there was still an opportunity and a chance that we would get like fourth or third. I don't know.
Missed the elimination leg. That's what we was trying to get, weren't we?
Yeah. Sam says I can confirm they were all saying what if at Cheapside on the Monday. Shows the players were annoyed that we broke that net.
Wasn't it a cropper throw? And that's the first time we actually saw that as a breakfast. I remember commenting to you like I've never seen a throw go that far. I've seen loopy throws that have gone into the box, but I've never seen somebody put that much distance onto a long throw. And if I remember rightly, it was Smith coming in at the back post or something off the end of it.
Yeah, I want him back. Yeah, Waterfall and Andy Smith, 89th and 81st minute.
Waterfall got the own goal, didn't he?
Yeah, he got a hell of an own goal because
that header.
Yeah,
it's comical, wasn't it?
Oh God, I'd forgotten about that. In front of that open goal, that open terrace. Well, there's nothing behind the goal, is there? The other end. It was just like he just didn't need to do it, did he? It was just like, what are you doing?
And he'd scored an own goal the game after as well against Maidenhead. He got sent off, didn't he?
Yeah,
and
he did.
Also
prolific.
And then they also scored a penalty like 2 minutes later too. It was all just complete chaos.
Yeah, it was all Waterfall as well, wasn't it? The penalty too.
Yeah, so I think he scored the own goal and then he hacked the guy down, didn't he? And got a red card and gave them a penalty.
Yeah.
And we were 2-0 down within 2 minutes. Yeah, that was mad. God.
They've had your apple sours, Alex. Thank you.
That's right. Did they get the peas?
No, there's no sign of peas yet. Somebody sent Skittle bombs.
Actually.
Yeah. Apparently they've all gone now. So if anybody wants to send anything else, they'd be very grateful. Oh no, my mate won't drink one of the drinks, so I've told her that she needs to up her game or she needs to stop hanging around with her.
Table 10 at the Coliseum in Cleethorpes if anybody wants to send something down to the Weatherspoons. I haven't done that for years. And what else was there?
We're nearly at the end of the regulation season. Did you go to the 4-4 at Eastleigh?
I did.
Manny's hat-trick.
I did. It was a brilliant game. There were so many. It was such a reserve team. And it was the first time my lad really got into town. He loved the aggro. Oh, he was loving it. They had loads of little teenagers there in the Eastleigh end giving it big un, and he was giving it back. And he was, arms aloft. He basically one Stone Island logo away from being on a register. He was absolutely loving it. But it pissed it down the whole game. But yeah, we were taking the lead. Manny got a hat trick, and then they equalised in the last minute. It was it didn't mean anything, but it was a cracking game.
Played a lot of the young lads as well, didn't we? Was it Bramall we played at the back?
Well, do you want to play a game of who played?
Go on then.
Right, okay. We're going to go from it's going to go Mike, Bruce, Hannah. The last person not to be able to say a team gets eliminated, a player gets eliminated, and then the winner, who's the last person that remains. So, Mike, first player, please.
Manny.
That's cheating, but yes, Manny was in there. Bruce.
Crocombe.
You are wrong. Bruce is out. Hannah. Your turn.
Oh, did he play?
JMD, yes. Mike, your turn.
Battersby.
Battersby did play, yes.
Because we wondered if he might play. We wondered if I knew that Macca didn't play. We wondered if he might give Macca one last game, didn't we?
Yes.
And he did, and he didn't. It was too too far burnt by then.
Go on, Hannah. He did play, yes.
I'm not telling tales, but Dan Lewis is up to it again. Remember last time we did this?
Dan, you're blocked. Last warning.
Ban him, kick him out.
He's...
You wouldn't tell him a secret, would you?
You wouldn't, would you? He's getting them all wrong as well.
I'm gonna go Cropper.
Cropper did play. Hannah?
The guy in the middle that only played a couple of games. Was it Jones?
Yes, Joey Jones. That was the one player I was going to ask you all if you remembered him.
Are we talking subs or is it just start? Sorry.
Didn't we have two? Didn't we have Callum Jones and then Joey Jones?
We had a what, Jones? What was the first Jones?
Was there a Callum Jones?
Yeah, but he got injured really quickly, didn't
he? I was thinking of Callum, but if there was a Jones, then I'll take it.
We can go subs if you want, Mike. Who are you going to go with?
Well, I think Bramall played.
Yes, he did, but he wasn't the sub.
No, he played. That's why I said he played.
Yeah. Go on then, Hannah.
Did Abrahams play?
He did. Yep, came on off the bench.
I'm going to go Sean Pearson, but I don't know if that's right.
Yes, he did. Yep. Your turn, Hannah.
Amos?
Amos did not play. Okay. To win it, Mike, who are you going for?
Well, who else would he played on the left back then? Who else did we have?
Just say Poughton, Mike. You'll win by default.
I want to say Evan Corey, but I think he was injured.
Bruce is the winner.
Oh shit! I'm going to say Evan Corey.
It wasn't. Okay, you're both in again. Let's go, Hannah. One last go.
Oh my god, I've stopped thinking. Who else?
You are missing at least 3 players who played quite a lot of games in the game in the season.
Scannell?
No.
Oh.
He was injured, wasn't he? He'd been already injured
Was
by
he
then.
injured? Oh no.
Clifton?
No.
I think we call it a draw, Alex.
Oh, I want to keep going, but okay. Yeah,
go
okay.
On,
so players you
one last.
One more.
One more.
Okay, go on then. First one. No. Mike, you got a chance to win it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I've got no.
Done. Okay. You missed Max Wright, Giles Coke, Adam Crooks.
Oh, Adam Crooks.
Crooks, yeah.
I couldn't think of who our other left back was.
And Arjun Raiki.
Oh yeah, was he from Villa?
Yeah.
Yes. He didn't like me because I told him off for being a bit slow against Wrexham.
I'm sure he remembers you, mate, and he thinks.
Oh, I'm sure he does now. Yeah, all the time.
I'd completely forgotten about Crooks, and he was one of the during that early part of the season. He actually played in the really good run at the start of the season, didn't he?
He was steady, wasn't he? Start of the season, really steady.
Where is he now?
Is it York?
Is it York? Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
he went with Burgess, John Lewis, and I think Paddy McLaughlin's there as well.
Can I just say we're an hour into this podcast and we have not hit the playoffs yet?
Right, let's wrap it
up.
up.
How good a season it was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Notts County. What were your thoughts originally on the playoffs? And I didn't think we'd get there. I thought we'd show a good account of ourselves. I thought Notts County were a tough one to crack, and they'd been far and away the better team out of the two of us all season, even though we'd won at their place. And yeah, it was a shame. I remember us or me revving it up a little bit, getting home fans in the away fans in the home end because they weren't giving us tickets. They limited us to what, 2,000 tickets instead of the customary 4.
Didn't they close the bottom of that standoff as well?
They did, yeah.
An unbeknown reason, and half the stand. So just gave like the top quarter.
It was about this time that I'd realised that my mate was getting married on the day of the final. And I
is
I
he a
just
Town
remember-
fan?
I remember saying that I didn't think we were going to win at Notts County, and I certainly didn't think we were going to win at Wrexham, and that if it did come to the point where we needed to have a conversation with him, that it would be a good problem to have because it would mean we were in the final. Little did I think that it would be a conversation that actually had to be held. I didn't think I thought it was a really tough route to the final. And I think that.
Did you have a conversation then, and you were told no?
No, we had a conversation, and my missus.
And you went to the wedding.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm sure we'll come on to that in a moment because that'll be one of the highlights of your season, Mike. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
Only time I've been, mate. Only time I've been.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you might as well. To be fair, mate, actually, once we've wrapped up last season, you might as well leave the pod, didn't you? But yeah, no, Notts County, Alex. In all seriousness, we'd played quite well. We'd conceded a penalty but it was a little bit harsh, wasn't it? And just to come back into it when that guy with the ferret on his head was waving all their fans and trying to get them on the pitch at the end, and they were all by the hoardings ready, and they had to sit down. And he had
what was that? A guy with a ferret on his head?
Yeah, that defender of theirs with a ferret on his head. He was whipping all the fans up.
Oh yeah.
And it was he looked like he thought he was Davy Crockett, didn't he, without the hat? And he was just like, that when Holohan scored and the scramble, and me and Maisie were stood at the bottom of the steps, and I just had to protect her because it just went absolutely mental. And it was that goal just 10 seconds from the end of extra time was bigger than any of the other goals in the playoff campaign, because without it sounds stupid, but without it we'd have gone out. And we were that was the last set piece of our season.
Should have been a penalty.
Yeah, it should have been.
It was inside the box, which we'll still be talking about now.
Yeah, and it wasn't a penalty for them. I've got to say, like, come off it. Thomas Maris as well says the beach ball from their end gave us an extra minute and it saved our season. Yeah, I remember that Max Crocombe taking his time, kicking it off and then kicking it off again. Yeah, it was incredible and such a stupid decision to push Clifton in the back.
Yeah.
It was.
Does anybody know if that Notts County Zone bloke on Twitter knows how many tickets they've got yet? You remember him before the game?
Oh, for Wrexham, how many tickets will we get for Wrexham?
Yeah, how many tickets we're going to get for Wrexham?
What about the announcement as well, telling them not to go on the pitch?
That's the only reason we scored. It's crowd control, nothing to do about getting promoted. We saw a problem, we solved it.
Matt Lawton applauded us.
That was sweet. That was sweet. It was.
I remember from watching at home because we did a pod, a sort of live reaction thing after, didn't we? As we did for both the games, Alex. And I remember my mate. I rung him. I rung him at the break after full time before extra time. I rung him. I was like, "Oh, fucking lucky there, aren't we? Cutting that close." And he had no idea he'd gone to bed. He'd given up. And I just remember when we scored, like I tipped the table up in the front room because I was trying not to wake my little lad up. So I was in all sorts of shit at home. For what I'd done, it was just absolutely incredible to score a late equaliser like that in a game like that, and then to do the same with a winner in extra time. It was the start of an absolute exhausting roller coaster for a couple of weeks. Absolutely exhausting. And as a fat man, I'm pleasantly surprised I'm still alive.
Wasn't that Monday? And we were at Wrexham. We were at Wrexham on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It felt like it did feel like a World Cup though. It felt like, who have we got in the next round? Okay,
yeah, we go again. We go again.
And it did feel it was a perfect storm because as well, we'd kind of understood Cropper and the threat he posed, and it wasn't a threat that we'd been aware of, and neither had the opposition. So it was something they had to learn on the fly against us on how to deal with that throw. And you also had like Manny, and Manny was such a revelation, and it felt like, how when Leicester won the league, it felt like at the very beginning, a lot of the focus was on Jamie Vardy scoring, continuing that, that momentum of 11 goals in consecutive games. And then after that finished, actually, we can concentrate on winning the league. And it kind of felt like that with Manny, like, you know, when we got to Wrexham, it was like, and you know, throwing himself at it. And by then we'd already created a legend around him. I don't know, it just felt so weird. I still didn't feel like we were going to win when we went to Wrexham. It just felt incredible.
That game was 1-1 at half time when I was absolutely I just remember being absolutely knackered. And I hadn't been drinking. I was just sat with Maisie and the lads that we'd gone with. And it was just exhausting on the back of what we'd already got, what we'd already done at Notts County a few days earlier. How the players summoned the energy to play extra time again and get without that in the legs, because as a fan it was just exhausting. And like I say, it was only 1-1 after 45 minutes. You know, to then be 3-3 after normal time. Oh.
I'd been on my hen party the night before, had 3 hours sleep, and I think I woke up still like part drunk, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack because it was like, you know, when the adrenaline and the alcohol mix, honestly thought I was going to pass out or have a heart attack or something. I've never felt anything like it.
I must say, my Fitbit several times over that 2 weeks told me, do you think it's time to have a sit down or something?
It was just a crazy game, and it just made it sweeter, didn't it, to go to bloody Wrexham and bloody screw all over the documentary and everything that they were, you know, their two owners up in the box and stuff.
Just want it more.
Just brilliant. And I mean, they were very good after with tickets and stuff like that. The fans were exceptional, but you know, as a third party coming into their backyard to beat them and Moneybags Wrexham, it was absolutely brilliant.
You know, and to be on the right side of a game like that is great, because, you know, it's something that fans of lower league football will remember because it's such a good game. I mean, you see the commentators mention it on Twitter occasionally, podcasts mention it, you know, other podcasts mention it quite a lot. And if you was to have lost that game, you would just have this constant reminder of how you played in such a good game of football, but you lost. So that's quite nice. You're on Twitter occasionally, you see somebody's mentioned it, because it was a fantastic game of football. I'd love to have been a neutral watching that, but as a fan, it was just an absolute nightmare.
I sat after we came out of the ground. We went back to the pub that we'd been in before, just to have a drink and just take it all in. And it was at that point that I realised that the final was now a problem, and it just seemed a million miles from being a problem at Notts County before the game. It just seemed like, you know, Notts County, Wrexham, that's not going to happen. And yeah.
Can't find the interview.
It did, but unbelievable. And then on to West Ham, Mike.
Hang on, is that all we... I've got to have a say on this. What's going on?
Oh, sorry, mate. You were busy doing something. I was trying to keep it smooth. Sorry, here's Alex with his thoughts on the Wrexham game in the playoffs.
Can we do some music transition to you now, Alex? Can we make it a big thing?
Do you want? Well, I've only got the Christmas music still. That's it. Oh, that. I don't know. No, I've got that.
Oh no.
Is that banned?
Yeah, I think that's going the way of the fan, mate.
That just about wraps things up for part one. On the Wrexham game.
No, shut up. It was just, I don't know. Who watched it from home? It was just such a. Firstly, it was the same day as the Champions League final, and that didn't get a fucking look in afterwards. It was, you know, it was just stunning, and you just couldn't comprehend what was going on. And every time Wrexham attacked in that second half and in extra time, well, that's a goal. Every time we went forward, and that goal out of all the goals that were scored, that Taylor McAtee header combination thing was so beautiful. And it just felt, after we won that, it just felt destined. And again, massive credit to the Wrexham fans, the Wrexham podcast, Rob, Ryan, and Red. They were all wonderful. They were all so calm. It was just one of those games where I don't even think I would be that magnanimous. You know, when you lose, they were just like, yeah, it's just an incredible game, and we were just on the losing end of it, and it felt, I don't know, it felt so weird. And how lucky were we that Crocombe didn't get sent off for absolutely hammering their youngster into the ground. I mean, it made up for the handball and the penalty that wasn't a penalty for Waterfall. But oh god, we were lucky, weren't we? Because he absolutely crucified him. Do you remember that? Yeah, that was incredible. Anyway, yeah, Wrexham, and then on to the final, which is always weird because everybody goes, so you got to take your whole family. So it's almost like Christmas. It's like football Christmas. You got to take the whole lot with you, and it's not normal. It's not like Eastleigh away or whatever. And it was really weird to walk out. There was nothing more funny than walking out of the tube station at Stratford and lots of confused shoppers as town fans had decided to let off a flare in one of the posh pubs on the way to the ground. So everyone had to evacuate it. It was so weird. And you just see everybody, it's one of these things. It's like your town has gone on holiday together and everybody is there. Like I spent the walk up to the ground took a good 25 minutes because you're getting stopped by people and you see people from the village. And it felt nervy and it just felt destined. I felt the same against Forest Green. Like this is ours. Don't worry about it.
How many did we take? It was about 15,000.
About 13.
Not quite that many.
About 13,000.
It must have been 15 because there was 22,000 there. They couldn't have taken that many more. But I know
just come in. That Jack thing just come in, or was that from a few minutes ago?
Probably a few minutes ago. There's never football on my birthday.
It was June, wasn't it? It was June.
Yeah, I just remember about that game is I was so pessimistic about it, and it's usually not like me. Usually, I think we're going to do everything, but I was so pessimistic about it. It's like there's no point going. We're going to lose. It's going to be so close. I'd rather have lost at Notts County than get this far. And then when we won 1-0 down, I nearly went. My head had gone. I was like, we're going to lose this. And just the emotional roller coaster of pulling it back and then getting the lead in extra time and then having to hold on to it for what felt like forever. It was so long. I actually put my stopwatch on my phone because they'd taken away the added time off the board, and I was like, no, I'm going to make sure that this is the right amount of time that is played. I don't know. It was mental.
Yeah, I did the same as well, and I remember looking like 3 or 4 days later, and it was on like 3 million minutes or something like that. It was pretty incredible. It was a mastery of shithousery, and I don't know. What did you guys think of Solihull? I thought we were the better team the whole game. Clifton had that opportunity, missed the open goal, and I bet he must kick himself missing that one. It came at him and he snatched at it. And then we had another couple of others. And I just remember though, there was one poor ball boy for the whole back area of the goal. That huge Olympic-sized stadium, and it's like, we'll put one like 9-year-old behind the pitch to go and get the ball if it gets shot over the pitch.
I do remember when we scored the winner, for some reason, I was looking towards Crocombe and their keeper had booted the ball up to halfway to try and get the game going again. And Crocombe had legged it out of his goal to halfway, picked the ball up, run back to his goal, and then kicked it right behind into that bit where there was no seats. just proper shit house. Then he went down with cramp.
Well, it's a long way to win.
And it did it.
What did you make of it, Hannah? Like, how was it for you?
Oh, obviously it was very good.
Yeah,
yeah, I loved it. I felt a lot more confident this time round. Like once we were there, I felt a lot more confident that we would do it. Yeah, it was great. Every time I hear Tina Turner, the best, I get all the emotions coming back again, and no one else around me gets it, and I'm like, oh. But yeah, great day, great game.
It was really weird. They also had that bloke singing at the front at the beginning.
They roll him out every single final.
He's a mate of he's a mate, isn't he, of somebody?
Who is he?
I don't know, but he's the same guy that always sings.
We've been to enough playoff finals now down there to know what it looks like. It was and what was it like for you, Bruce? How did you cope? What did you have to do?
How did you get down there, Bruce? Where did you stay? Where did you drink?
I stayed in Yorkshire.
Who were you sat with?
I was sat with a couple of lads that I normally go to the games with. I'd convinced myself that I was actually in a better place because if we won, I would just be delighted that we'd won. And if we lost, then I didn't have that journey home and the, sort of talking to people that you didn't really want to talk to. And I could just get pissed at the wedding. And actually it did pan out like that. I was so delighted that we'd got promoted that I was really pleased that Maisie was there. That she got to go with my mates, really, because there was some debate whether she should go on her own or not, and she wasn't invited to the wedding, so I just didn't want her to miss out, and it was just speaking to her at the end and her cutting me off, and I went outside to talk to her after the game, and she just said, "Oh, Daddy, it's really good. I'll have to ring you back in a bit." And it was just like, that was just brilliant that, she was having such a good time that she was too busy to talk to me. But no, I was just really, really pleased. And I've said it loads of times. I honestly think that could be one of the biggest promotions in the club's history. And whatever happens this season, as long as we stay in the league, I'd love us to be challenging for the playoffs. But as long as we stay in the league quite comfortably, then this year or last year has been a very important year for the club, because look at Notts County and Wrexham. They're both on for over 100 points, and what's the chance? One of them's going to get in the playoffs and get beaten by the team that finishes 5th or something. It's so hard to get out of that league, and we could have been down there for years and years and not got back out. And just to get back out we could look back in 10 or 15 years' time and just be, what if we hadn't got out and we did it out of the conference, and look at it now. I just think it's massive, and nothing that happens will change that.
Yeah,
I think
Sorry, Alex.
I just think it meant a lot, considering we'd been there before, and how hard we had to work to get out that first time round, and the trials and tribulations we went through. It made it even more miraculous. We enjoyed that playoff final win far more than a Bristol Rovers fan would have done, because they just didn't understand the hurt and pain that we had to go through to get back out of it. And to go, how the fuck have we chanced this? All the careful planning last time around, and we've basically just got a bloke who can throw the ball a long way, and it's helped us get us out of the league. And it's just mad to think of all the great players we had that have helped us try and get out of here, like Hearn and O'Connell, and all the other players as well around it that have helped us try and get out of that league and didn't accomplish it. And just these lads just got together and had that moment. And I don't think you put them together again 1,000 times over, I don't think they'd be able to replicate it. Sorry, Mike.
We did it from 6th.
Yeah.
We were after the start of the season when we were top. We dropped down as low as sort of 11th or 12th, didn't we?
We lower than that.
We thought that anyway. We looked like we'd absolutely blown it. So, yeah, amazing.
I mean, I think Bruce is right. We said at the time, didn't we, that I think in a long time to come, you're going to look back at 2022 and think that was probably one of the best years we've had as a club in a long time. Not so much, when you compare it with our history, but we could have been down in that league for a decade easily, with the amount of money that's swilling around in there and how hard it is to get out. You can get 100 points and still finishing the playoffs and losing the first game. So you're quite right, Bruce. I think to do that on the first attempt just made that season and the end of that season so much more special. We'd been a complete basket case. We'd come down. People were starting to lose the will to live with town. We had the takeover. We've turned the team round completely. And at the first chance of asking, got it right and got back up. And it just means that instead of having to wait 5, 6, 10 years to progress the football club, we're straight back up the next season, and we can start to progress as we should have done the first time we came up, when we didn't implement or use any of that momentum. We just accepted, we're Grimsby Town, we'll never get relegated again, and we did.
Do we want to end it there? It's been a long time. We can always come back and talk about the other this season if we want to, but I guess it's probably worth final thoughts on this season, I guess, as a team and how we're going, I guess, and then we can always come back and do a bit more. But it was great to be back in the league and play teams like Bradford again, and it just felt. I felt embarrassed that we took those places. Those places to get out in the National League are so important, and I do feel a little bit embarrassed that we took an extra one by going back down and coming back up again. Not to try and nullify the achievement or anything, but it felt embarrassing on teams like Wrexham and Notts County, and everybody was so desperate to get out of there, and we came back in and went, all right, well, sorry about that, we fucked it up. We'll go again. But it's nice to be back up here, and it just feels there is something to be said, and we've got to stop. We've got to keep being aware of we should be proud that our town has got a football league team. Like, that's a big achievement. There's only 92 towns and cities that will get that in the country, and we shouldn't be so quick to dismiss that and also give it away. And but there's not much else I can say about this season. It's still going on.
I think what some people should maybe good for all of us to do is have a little look back at where we were in that COVID season, have a look at the things that were happened and how we were all feeling about it, and have a look at where we are now and actually compare the two. And I think this season we're back in the Football League. We're not tearing up any trees, but we're back in the Football League. The club is progressing off the field. The club's progressing on the field. And again, compare it to where we have been. And I think sometimes we just need to take stock of that a little bit. And remember, you can't just rebuild straight away. You have to do it brick by brick. And for me, that's what this season is. I'm glad we're back in the Football League.
I thought that two things that I've just written down for this season was the number of season tickets that we sold. That's a record that we've never sold that many season tickets, as far to my knowledge. I know it's different now with all seating and standing and stuff, and you didn't need to, but we just doubled basically what we were selling. And I think if we'd have been under the old regime and we'd been in the conference, we'd have been getting crowds of 2,000 this season or last season. And so that was the first one. And that League Cup game against Notts Forest, I know we got turned over and we were outclassed on the day, but to see Blundell Park full again, not just the home ends, but the away end as well, under the floodlights, playing a team, a former European Cup winner, was just, it felt like we were back. And we followed that up with the Gates against Bradford. It was just nice to see Blundell Park full more often. And obviously the higher up the pyramid you go, you imagine if we could just get to League One at some point in the next couple of seasons, you've got Bradford, you've got Sheff Wednesday, you've got Derby, that away end, the ground would be nearly full every week. I mean, we sold over 6,000 home tickets, Salford bought 120, which is more than I thought they would bring. But, we get that away end. We used to get 2,000, 2,300 away fans regularly when we were in the upper, in the Championship and below. And they would sell out whatever we would give them, probably half the clubs. So, yeah, it's really good that we're back. We need to turn the current form round because we don't want to end the season on a low. But yeah, the clubs feels like it's going in the right direction.
Just one thing you said there, Bruce, about if we'd gone down under the old regime, would have had 2,000. I think it's very easy to see what would have happened. Just have a little look down the road, and you can see what could have happened. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. I think we could have been very similar to Scunthorpe if we'd have gone down with the old regime. And compare that to where we are now. I think we just need to remember that a little bit.
Found a tenner. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Hannah, did you want to add anything, mate?
To be honest, I have only seen us win once this season, so...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I've not seen the best of us. What I will say is I'm looking forward to the transfer window and really want a big striker to appear from somewhere.
And in struts Adam Proudlock. You want a big striker. Here he is. He's 18 stone.
Big Baz Conlon.
If he scores goals, I'll take it.
That's fair. Right, well, I guess that's it for the time. Thank you so much for listening to us waffle. It's an incredible season. It's hard to put it into words, really, but Thank you, and we shall see you all in the new year. Have a good new year. Enjoy the football, and don't worry too much about it. We'll be right. What are you going to say, Mike?
Adam's just said, I've just arrived. Have I missed anything? Yes, Adam, we got promoted back to the Football League, mate.
Right. Well, see you all later. Bruce, nice to see you.
Cheers, mate. Happy New Year.
Yes, you too. Happy New Year, Hannah.
And to you.
And to you as well, Mike. Speak to you all soon.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, later.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
What a magnificent piece of football!
Really, really good goal!
You can't let this slip for that.
Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.